Tens of thousands of migrants from the Middle East have flooded Europe, and now several countries are saying no more.
6,000 refugees live here in the jungle, by far one of the worst refugee camps across France.
About 3,000 to 4,000 migrants are crossing this border every day, and that is overwhelming this tiny nation.
Every time you turn around, I get Fox News alerts and USA Today alerts on my phone, and it seemed like every time you turn around there was something popping up about something bad happening over there.
We got to visit in a refugee home, and the lady of the house, her name was Najdia, and her oldest son was killed in the war, and her second oldest son had traveled back to Syria to avenge his brother's death. And I just told her that we were there because we cared and we wanted to hear her story, and that we followed one who commands us to love and to care. And my husband got to follow up with telling about Jesus and how he was beaten and rejected and persecuted by his people for no fault of his own. And although we couldn't relate to her, that the one we follow, Jesus, could. And our visit just really took a turn at that point. And before we left, she told us that we were not like her people and that she could see the light in our eyes. And we just know that that light was Christ.
The IMB has people placed strategically all over the world. When crises like this come up, there are people able to respond quickly and actually go to some of the key cities where the refugees were coming through. They were able to set up some logistics for volunteers to come in. They were able to set up a way for donations to be received.
As crisis situations occur, we automatically have this angst inside of us that says, what can I do? How can I respond? How can I do something? This is where the Cooperative Program really comes in handy. First of all, there's a network on the ground of folks that are already responding and can inform us how we can pray strategically, how we can pray inside if we can't be on site. Another way that churches really benefit from the Cooperative Program in times of crisis is through networks that are established to get your financial gifts directly to the front line. I think of opportunities that have come up even recently in Syria with the refugee crisis and in Europe. But our people want to know how to respond. And so there are multiple venues the Cooperative Program sets up for us in advance, ways that we can immediately give, and that money literally gets to the ground in a very short amount of time, meeting needs and sharing with people as well. A gift and a cup of cold water given in Jesus' name.
The interpreter that one of our team was working with every day had been ministering to this family and had been sharing a lot of stories and knew that they were very receptive to it. So our team member actually shared the bridge with the interpreter and just showed him how that was another way that we've used to share the gospel here and on other mission trips. So the interpreter went and got a whiteboard and a marker, and when they went in that home, he actually drew out the bridge that our team member had just showed him how to do. And so after a couple hours of conversation of really just telling about Jesus and then really just going through everything that Islam is and Allah and Muhammad and how to follow Jesus, you have to renounce all of that and follow Christ, and you can't have both. And so after all this guy was considering it, and the interpreter got a belt and he laid out in the middle of the floor, and he basically said, on this side of the belt is Islam, and he said on this side is Jesus, and Jesus alone. And the guy walked up to the belt and stood there for a few seconds and stepped over the line and says, "I choose Christ."